Welcome to Stay Alive and Fit with Liz Goodman, a new innovative radio show that taps into what's happening now in the medical industry, featuring fitness experts, foodies, and medical professionals. Get it right here and be an active participant in your health. Mixed messages about what is best for your health can make you feel like you're on a runaway train. So hop on and have some fun while Liz navigates this medical mystery ride. Call 888-565-1470 and ask Liz, your source for the latest medical technology and long life advice. All aboard. Here's Liz Goodman.
Hi, good evening, and welcome to Stay Alive and Fit with Liz Goodman. Tonight is our new night, 6 p.m. on Thursdays. Thank you for tuning in. Call in and ask me any questions you have, and I'll find the answers you seek to all your fitness and medical questions. Though I'm not a doctor or a nurse and the sight of blood makes me squeal, I'm a seasoned journalist and a documentary producer experienced at asking the tough questions and zany questions that you would never think to ask, but that are important for you to learn and know about in order to stay fit, focused, and fabulous at any age. So tonight we have really interesting topics to discuss. But before I get into that, I want to tell you how you can get in touch with us. So get your pens out if you're not driving, or if you're driving, just listen in very carefully. Our call-in number is 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. You can email me at liz@stayaliveandfit.com. That's liz@stayaliveandfit.com, or like us on Facebook. So this show, just to let you know a little bit about us, because we were formerly on Monday nights and we were featuring doctors from Tenet Florida Physician Services. Now we're featuring different and interesting doctors and chefs and nutritionists from all walks of different hospitals and industries. Stay Alive and Fit is a fun fact-finding show that helps you navigate through the maze of all the ways you can stay fit, focused, and fabulous. So whether you're 20 or 80, male or female, mixed messages about what's best for your health can make you feel like you're on a runaway train. Tonight's show is sponsored by the Center for Family and Enrichment, located at 1825 Northwest 167th Street in Miami Gardens. They can be reached at 305-624-7450. Dr. Michelle Kerwin, she's fabulous. She was on the show last week. She's a pediatrician there, and they basically take care of orphans and families that can't afford medical or health insurance. They help them get insurance and get the treatment they need. Dr. Frank Snipes is an internist. He deals with the adults there. He's also fabulous. We're also sponsored by VIP Floral Design Group, the premier event and decor production company. Memorable, beautiful, original, 30 years designing and coordinating dream events for a lifetime of memories. To book an event, you can call 888-727-8997. So our special guests this evening are May Nunez. She's a clinical director, and Eric, I don't know if I'm going to destroy his last name, but I think it's Schneidow. He's executive producer or executive director of the EBTI treatment centers. They bridge the gap between treatment and recovery. They are a gender-specific treatment center that focuses on co-occurring disorders, which is a mental health disorder combined with a substance disorder. So again, call in a question to us at 888-565-1470 or email me at liz@stayaliveandfit.com. And if you or someone you know has a co-occurring disorder, do not touch that dial. We are going to be right back with two very important, knowledgeable people who can help you to help yourself or help others. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
After the break, our healthy hot topic of the week. Stay tuned to AM 1470 WNN. You're listening to Stay Alive and Fit with Liz Goodman. Introducing VIP Event Production Group. New York, LA, and South Florida joined together to become the upcoming VIP premier event and decor production company. We are an in-house, full-service, quality, social, and corporate design team with a combined 60 years experience. For your convenience, we have a complete showroom with floral, lighting, room draping, and dance floor wrapping designs. Our staff includes event coordinators, videographers, photographers, along with DJs and entertainment. To complement your event, we have an online website with promotional items and party favors. To book your event, call 888-727-8997 or go online to VIPproductiongroup.com. Live local, have a fitness or health question? Ask Liz, and you just might be called to guest star on her next show. Experience what it's like to get VIP medical treatment live, in person, on the air. Email your health or fitness questions or suggestions to Liz at stayaliveandfit.com. Ask Liz on Facebook, follow her on Twitter, or post a photo to Instagram. And watch Stay Alive and Fit on amp2.tv or listen right here on WNN 1470.
Hi, welcome back to Stay Alive and Fit. And my guests this evening, as I mentioned a minute ago, are from the Ebb-Tide Treatment Center. They bridge the gap between treatment and recovery. We have Eric and May here. Eric was born in West Palm Beach, and he was a troubled adolescent. He was riddled with drugs and alcohol, and he doesn't mind telling us all about his background and his history because he's a true testament to what can be achieved through hard work, persistence, and the desire to truly recover. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you.
And then we have May. I want to make sure I don't say it wrong. May, what's your last name? Can you pronounce it properly for me?
Nunez.
Nunez.
It's a Cuban last name.
Nunez.
Yes.
Okay, so May is a very smart, and if you're tuning in, let me just move this a little bit so you can see May's beautiful face. She's an absolutely gorgeous woman who is a smart woman from Havana, Cuba, moved to New York, and then was at the age of 9 months old. She was raised by her maternal grandparents. And, she had a love of dogs and passion for people and humanity, and decided to become a college graduate and go for her degree in psychology at FIU here in Florida, which is, from somebody who didn't, who had to be raised by your grandparents. I'm sure it's not as easy as having your parents around, and it's a struggle, and you probably became independent very young.
Yes.
So I'd love to hear how you guys got involved with Ebb-Tide. What's so different and unique about the way they treat patients? And more importantly, I don't understand or know exactly what that means, bridging the gap between treatment and recovery and a gender-specific treatment center. And I think it's really important for our listeners to know what it is you do exactly and the kind of person that they would send to you if, with all the treatment centers out there, why you? I'm sure there's something very unique besides the two of you and how fabulous you are, something about your center that stands out and makes it different. But in order to get in touch with your center, the first thing I want you to do is just tell us your phone number and your address, and then tell me a little bit about yourselves.
You want to start?
Okay, perfect. So we're located at 3385 Burns Road. It's in North Palm Beach. We can be reached at 844-430-4357. And bridging the gap between treatment and recovery kind of came about because a lot of treatment centers, we believe, brand themselves or market themselves as the answer. Being in recovery myself and having gone through it, I know that that's just not the case. It's a good beginning. So we like to focus on life skills and different things necessary to continue to remain in recovery.
Okay, so what is the difference between a gender-specific?
Perfect. So one of the big things that we should start at is that substance abuse has very little to do with the substance, and it has more to do with not feeling okay with me. So being a male, if I can find that feeling okay inside of a female, it's kind of going to distract from the treatment that I have the ability to attain at a treatment facility. So by keeping it gender specific, we have the ability to focus on issues that pertain to males and females. And
so is it, age-based as well? I mean, what's sort of the age of the patient who comes to see you? Or is it range?
Well, we take anything over 18, probably up into, we've had clients that are 50 years old and up in age. But basically, the addict mind, there's a lot of common denominators. So age is not really a factor with us. We kind of accommodate to whatever they're presenting. To answer your question, and just to piggyback what Eric said, the gender is a very important factor in our treatment center because relationships can be addictive as well. So when you're coming out of your active addiction with a substance, other things start to flare up, and one of them being relationships. So that's how we kind of staged it. No distractions for the males, kind of focus just on yourself and the problem at hand. And that's just one of the things that we're doing differently amongst many others.
So that's your unique quality about your center.
That's
is that
one of them.
That's really interesting because I know, especially when you're in a recovering situation, I would think that having to be self-conscious, especially as you're 18, 20, 22, which I think is where a lot of these addiction problems begin, when they're drinking and partying with their friends in college, and then some people who have addictive personalities, or like you say, co-concurrent, is that what it is? Or
Co-occurring.
co-occurring. So people that might have an underlying mental disorder that start to come out after adolescence, and then they mix that with alcohol or drugs that they're doing for the first time. I would think that that leads to the beginning of a lifelong problem. And so being able to come to a center like yours where they do have a gender specific situation and they don't have to combine that with also self-conscious issues, would be a really interesting, wonderful new way to deal with problems.
Right. Absolutely. It creates a safe environment for the male to, open up. I am the clinical director, but I don't really get involved as far as one-to-one with the clients. What we do is kind of just have male staff, male therapists, and we're both behind the scenes as far as the clinical direction. But it definitely creates a safe place for the clients to open up.
But do you feel a male patient has to be with a male doctor, or that's not the part of the gender specific?
It's not mandated, but we think that just a dynamic between male to male is much more efficient than male to female. When we opened the center, I would do the biopsychosocials myself and the assessments, and it would be almost like double the work for me to probe and get information out of the male because they're presented with maybe embarrassment or shame versus talking to a male that they feel more comfortable, kind of like what you were saying.
So do you guys diagnose as well, or people are already diagnosed with a concurrent?
Co-occurring.
Co-occurring. I have concurrent in my head because in a sense it is concurrent,
we have
right?
concurrent reviews, but co-occurring is the term.
So co-occurring, do you have those patients already come in with those issues, or do you guys, one of your specialties is when they come in there, you're able to say, hey, this is more than just, an addiction to opiates. There's an underlying mental illness here. And part of the beauty of going to you is that you're so trained in that you can actually determine that it's more than just addiction going on.
That is part of what we did in the beginning. We sat there, Eric and I, and we went through kind of like all the evaluations that we would use at the treatment center, because we felt that one of the biggest things and flaws in determining length of care or treatment plan is people kind of miss the boat on things, and they start seeing you kind of like a number, or everybody's the same, everybody has the same issues. So we really pride ourselves in doing a thorough evaluation from in the inception, from intake. We look at any comorbidity issues, any medical issues that might be mimicking mental health. That's another big factor. So, sorry, I keep forgetting about the camera.
Yes, there is a camera here. And for anybody
is.
who is, just to interrupt, for anybody who would like to see who the doctors are, who the people are that you would be getting in touch with if you go to Ebtide, you can go and watch us live right now at www.stayaliveandfit.com. Just click the watch live link. You can also go to WWNN Radio and click the live button there too, and you can see us live, and you can watch us again on YouTube. So if you are listening to the show and you have any kind of a problem with alcohol, drugs, opiates, or possibly a mental condition that you're concerned about. These are very knowledgeable people. One of the things that I really, really think is special and unique is that, a lot of rehab centers have people that have been rehabilitated. But I've had a few conversations with Eric, and he comes across so knowledgeable and so professional, and clearly he's had a lifetime of his own struggles, but he's so in tune with what are the troubles of other young men and women that coming to speak with him is a step in the right direction. He's a loving and caring person. We were talking about our dogs today. They actually incorporate some patients in pet therapy, which I think is extremely important. I actually had an incident with my dog today who I was worried she caught a kennel cold out in the park today, which is very bizarre, sniffling and wheezing. And so shout out to Dr. Benjamin Carter, who is a home vet. He comes straight to your house, which is kind of cool. And I think that's very important. And the fact that you do more than just care for your patients, but you incorporate like a home environment so that they feel comfortable is a step in the right direction. And because they can speak to other people who have recovered successfully and integrated into life is fabulous. Is that a lot of how you handle your patients with that whole process?
Absolutely. So one thing that I've noticed with a lot of people who are attempting to recover or in recovery, they're just not very trusting people. They want to know that it's somebody who's been in their position before they're offering advice, or or advising them in a direction to go. And I'm uniquely qualified in the sense that I've done it. You know, I was prescribed 90 Vicodin a month when I was 16 years old through BMX accidents, and I found out very quickly that it was the solution to all my problems. And that is what we believe, or I believe, is one of the big unknowns with substance abuse. Is a lot of people seem to think that it is a lack of willpower or a lack of mental strength or whatever you want to call it. And really, it's just that I found out that drugs and alcohol were my solution to any problem in life.
So give me an example. How old were you when this started?
16.
And then when did you get into treatment?
I got sober when I was 24.
And did you go to a treatment center for that?
I did.
And have you been able to maintain that sobriety, or have you had battles with that?
So from 18 to 24, I attempted to get sober at 18, and it didn't go well. So from 18 to 24, I had a lot of struggles with it. Homelessness, I lived in the woods for 10 months at a period of time. Everybody had just stopped wanting to have anything to do with me. So once I finally did get sober, I had no other options. I had nothing else that I could cling on to that gave me one last hope at another chance at this. So when I got in, I took it extremely seriously. And once I had realized that I was absolutely defeated, in a sense, by substances, it gave me the ability to do whatever it took to get sober. And my life has changed incredibly since then. I'm engaged to a wonderful woman.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm getting married at the end of the year.
Very nice. Well, we say mazel tov, but we also say congratulations.
Absolutely. You know,
How do you say it in Spanish?
Felicidades.
Say that again.
Felicidades.
Like Feliz
that one.
Navidad.
Something like that, just ades.
So that's really nice. But I know
Yeah.
one of the things, and I'm going to just circle back, because one of the things we
Absolutely.
mentioned earlier, you said you were living on the streets, and I know that we talked about, people who have drug addictions are not just people who live on the street. They're lawyers, they're doctors, they're your accountants.
Absolutely.
They're the physician you're going to see that you don't even know about. So, it's not like a shame. There's no shame in having a problem. The shame is in not doing something about the problem. Correct?
Absolutely, and I think that's something that keeps people out of seeking help for so long, is the fact that most people have this idea in their mind of, drug addicts and alcoholics are the guy who lives under the bridge, he's wearing a trench coat, maybe he has pants on, maybe not, and they've lost everything, but I believe that drug addicts and alcoholics, it's more of an emotional state where we use drugs and alcohol to cope with every emotion that comes up. If it's a good day, drugs and alcohol make it better. If it's a bad day, drugs and alcohol make it better.
Which circles back to the co-occurring idea, because it seems like any person who has a drug or alcohol problem also really does have an underlying mental condition. So the fact that you address that and make that as part of the process, I think is very important. And I don't think everybody looks at recovery that way. So I kudos to you guys.
Yeah, it is interesting, but a lot of centers, because you asked what makes us different, they claim to be co-occurring, and they say, we can treat both at the same time, which basically it's an addiction and a mental health disorder occurring at the same time, but you don't know which one came first. And that's not our mission. Our mission is just to kind of treat both and clearly do what we're saying that we're doing. And that begins with a psychiatric eval, medical eval. Once we rule out everything else, we can look at the presenting problem.
Right. Well, because there's a call on the line. That's why you see me look over at my phone, because
okay,
they're
that's what
texting
it
me.
is.
But the, just to last statement on that, it's kind of like the story of the chicken and the egg. Which comes first?
Right.
Does the mental disorder cause the drinking problem, or does the drinking problem cause the mental disorder? And I understand it because I've lived with people with disorders, and it's not an easy thing to live with. I've lived with people with gambling addictions, alcohol addictions, and, and that leads to verbal abuse and other sorts of things. So it's like a slippery slide.
Right.
So going to see any person who takes that first step and seeks treatment is really important. So before I go to a caller, because we have a caller named Robin on the line, just give out your telephone numbers quickly at the center and how people can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. We can be reached at 844-430-4357, 24 hours a day.
And you're located at?
At 3385 Burns Road, Suite 108, North Palm Beach, Florida, 33410.
And your website address?
Is ebtidetc.com.
So that's EBBT as in Tom, I, D as in David, E as in Elizabeth, T as in Tom, C as in Charlie.com. So I want to welcome Robin is on the phone. Hi, Robin. How are you? Welcome to Stay Alive and Fit.
How are you? Thank you. Thank you. My question lies in the community with the children, with the kids. My kids made it through the Palm Beach County school system. They're adults now. However, the drugs started in middle school. All the apparently kids were raiding their parents' bathroom cabinets and closets and bring them to school and selling the drugs in school. And when I addressed this with administration, they're like, there's nothing we can do. We try. It's just overwhelming. It was difficult getting my kids through school, especially when they got to high school.
So
how much in the community, now that the drug mills are shut down, how much in the community is this still a problem?
That's a great question. It's a huge problem because what ended up happening to a lot of the kids that were out there taking medications from their parents' medicine cabinets, opiates, so painkillers, are essentially the same thing as heroin on a different level. So now that all the pill mills are gone, people have switched over to using illicit street drugs, heroin and other things of alike. So we still have, it's an epidemic, not only locally, but the state of Florida and the entire country as a whole is just being crippled by the opiate epidemic. It's unfortunate. It's still easier for kids to get prescription medications than it is for them to get alcohol.
Robin, do you still work in the system?
I don't anymore. I did. While my children were growing up, I worked as a nurse. I'm now retired as in nursing, and I work in the private sector. But just recently, maybe it was Memorial Day weekend, we just buried my son's best friend.
Sorry to hear that.
OD and heroin. Yeah. And he was only not even 20. He would have been 20 in 2 weeks. He didn't even make it to 21.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Eric and May, is there something you would advise somebody like Robin who is connected to the community, and if she wants to help others to reach out to children or teenagers in need, or some signs that they would recognize or first steps they would take to just open the door for conversation so that they can get someone into your treatment center? Robin, is that a good follow-up question? Is there anything else you'd want to ask?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I think that it should be more prevalent. It's kind of like the pink elephant in the room in the school system, okay? Address it. It's there. Kids are ODing. Okay, let's address it. Let's get it out there. Let it be one of a curriculum in the school system. Have it stay drug-free.
Sorry, Robin.
I mean, there's got to be a class. Growing up in the New York area, I had to take health, and I had to take, driver's ed and all these other stupid little things. Why can't they do something that's going to take them through the rest of their life and teach them how to deal with the peer pressures and how to say no and the alternatives and the benefits of all that? I mean, these kids are caving into peer pressure.
Yeah, I would like to answer that question for Robin. I worked many years with juveniles from the actual court and Marchman Act down in Miami. And what I found with adolescents and mainly in the school system, even children, is that children normally don't use drugs unless there's an underlying issue. I would say maybe 85% of the cases that I saw were self-medicating. So more so, I mean, there is the educational component with the family has to be involved. Like, I don't believe that we have to rely on the next person or the next person to talk about or educate. I think that it's such a crisis and an epidemic that we're living that we have to kind of take matters into our own hands and kind of go out there and just, the parents have to get involved. If they see that the child is acting, maybe lack of sleep, when the appetite is off, when the mood is off, when there's acts of aggression, then there's usually an underlying issue. So I would suggest taking matters into your own hands if you're a parent at a school and the school's not working with you. And then I would always recommend a psychiatric evaluation. Just because children really are just trying to just feel better and trying to medicate and kind of just get by with their day at school or at home or whatever the case may be.
Is it easier to treat a child that was maybe got into drugs through peer pressure versus a child who's into drugs because they were, there was some underlying issues. Can you tell the difference between that kind of a child?
I would say that somebody who's predisposed might be a little bit harder because no matter what coping skills they have in place, like there's going to be an organic issue that keeps coming up. One that's very common is ADHD. So no matter what your coping skills are, you're always going to kind of resort to some sort of drug to help calm you down, to help you focus, and to help you kind of fit in with the other kids in class. As far as if it's a poor social network, I think that might be a little bit easier because you can kind of manage the surroundings that they're in. So that would be my answer.
So, Robin, thank you so much for your call. We have 2 minutes left in the program. I wanted to say thank you to our guests. Robin, I appreciate you listening. Tell your friends about StayAliveAndFit.com. Like us on Facebook. And to our guests here, Eric and May, my hope is to bring you back, make you regulars on this program, people like Robin to call in and be able to help people like Robin. And the more they talk about the program and the more they hear about the underlying addictions and the causes, I think it could be a really great topic for conversation. And maybe we can invite guests to come join us and give testimonials and talk about how the center has helped them. So we'll talk about that in the future. Let's quickly have you guys give your information for anybody who wants to get in touch with you.
The center would be 844-430-4357, and our website is eptidetc.com, and we'd love to help if you call. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, May.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week on Stay Alive and Fit, Thursdays at 6. Write it down, folks. Don't forget, like us on Facebook. Email me at liz@stayaliveandfit.com. Any questions you have, I will find the answers you are seeking. Whether you're 20, 40, 80, this show's about staying fit, fabulous, focused, and drug-free, folks. That's what it's about. Stay healthy, clear-minded. See you next week. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Stay Alive and Fit with Liz Goodman, a new innovative radio show that taps into what's happening now in the medical industry. Featuring fitness experts, foodies, and medical professionals. Get it right here and be an active participant in your health. Mixed messages about what is best for your health can make you feel like you're on a runaway train. Get ready to hop aboard again next time for Stay Alive and Fit with Liz Goodman. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily